What's up, guys? It is John from Side Hustle Experiment. If you're new to the channel, welcome. I'm a six-figure Amazon seller, and I try to help you guys make money selling on Amazon. Today, we are going to talk about a huge problem I had with my prep center. So much drama. Everyone, I posted this on Instagram, not to use Tiger Lily Prep Center anymore, and I got so many questions, and it was super overwhelming. A lot of people reached out saying they're in the same boat. They have inventory stuck there. And I felt that once I learned what I learned about them, it was I kind of felt responsible to the community of Amazon sellers to just kind of say, hey, if you're sending inventory there, please stop. Like, just trust me. More details to come. So this is some more details about that. I'm going to get into exactly what happened, how I even figured out some stuff, and more importantly, all this stuff here that I learned, so you don't have to make the same mistake that I did. Before we get started, if you could do me a real solid and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel, it would mean the world to me. It just helps get the word out. So, what happened? So, I was using a prep center, Tiger Lily in Montana. I was sending inventory to them. I came across them from a recommendation. I thought that was a safe bet. And okay, I knew 2, 3 people. They were bigger sellers than I was. They were using them. They said they do a really good job. It's $1 a unit, 20 cents for a poly bag, whatever. Okay, sounds good. I go to their website, send them an email. They said they're taking new clients. They say it's $25 to, like, I don't know, get the process starting or whatever. So I PayPal them $25. And yeah, we kind of went back and forth on a couple of things. I gave them access to my Amazon account and like limited what they could see. Obviously, you could do that. Give them permission. Let's say that inventory labs and all that stuff. So I sent about I started this in February. So I sent 117 units in February. Everything went well the first 2 or 3 weeks. So in March I did 315, April 546, May 386, and then in June about 330. I don't send everything to prep. I do prep some stuff myself on occasion. It just really depends on what's going on. But so April went fine. May, at the end of May, is when stuff started to like kind of get a little weird. Basically, it kind of stopped. I later found out that there was actually a huge flood in the area around June, and that caused like massive chaos in Montana. So yeah, that's a fun fact, and I'll tell you how I learned that in a second. And yeah, so June rolls around, end of May, things are starting to slow down. I'm trying to now get a hold of them and saying, hey, like, can you give me an update on my stuff? I didn't really hear back from them. I assumed, bad idea, they were just busy. That's kind of what the consensus was from the other people I knew who was sending stuff. So I continued to send stuff, which was a terrible idea. So yeah. And so June rolls around, and second week of June, starting to get really nervous. Don't get an invoice from them. And I'm just like, this is like so weird. So finally, they were like, oh, we're backed up. Here's the invoice. I pay the invoice. And then basically nothing happens. So all my stuff is in a Google Doc. It's not being updated. I have tracking numbers, so I know exactly that the stuff is there, hopefully. So I'm getting really nervous. People start to DM me on Instagram saying, have you heard from them? I said, no, I haven't heard from them. They haven't heard from them. So basically, I'm kind of at my wit's end. I have about $7,000 worth of inventory there. And I have no idea what else to do. I've tried to call, message, email, text, everything. So I decided to post in a Facebook group that I pay to be in. It's the OA Challenge. There's a Facebook group after you take it, you could join. Great group. So I posted like, yo, this is what happened. Does anyone have any suggestions? I can't get a hold of them. I mean, I'm just like kind of stuck here. Um, so like it was awesome. Like they are like a great community. I think there's like 50 or 75 comments on the whole thread of stuff with suggestions and help. Someone suggested, hey, like put their name out here. Maybe someone knows. So I did. I put the name and the location, and sure enough, no, a couple people are kind of familiar with them, but no one was using them or knew how to get a hold of them. So basically, one person in the group actually DM'd me or sent me a Facebook message offering to go over there and see what was going on with my inventory. I told them I did not feel comfortable with that. I appreciate the offer, but like I've never been there myself. So if anything were to happen, I'd feel terrible. So I don't want that to go down. Another person in the group uses another prep center in Montana where Tiger Lily is and knows they have like a network kind of thing going on. Kind of like we have Facebook groups and group chats and stuff like that. The prep center she uses is in some of those groups and they kind of help each other out, whatever. People were kind of just like, oh, I haven't heard from her, or that seems weird. And someone was so nice to go and drive there and see what was going on. And actually took pictures and sent them to this person. They sent them back to me. And it was a disaster. Basically, there were just like packages from all sorts of companies all over the lawn and the dirt, all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I freak out even more after seeing that. Still cannot get a hold of them. So yeah, that kind of brings me to now. I did hear from them. They just said they're going to try to work on my stuff. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. I will definitely give you an update what happens. So now let's get into the important part, what I learned about all of this. I am doing this. I'm in no way doing this to like destroy their business. It's just something that, I don't know, should be known. Yeah, so whatever. So here are some things that I learned from this. If you're going to get a recommendation from someone, that's fine. Like, I'm not mad. I did not do any homework on it. I just said, oh, cool, like they're good, and sent an email. They said they had spots open. Okay, cool. And it checked out. And one thing I did know going in was they were only about a year old. That doesn't mean they're not going to do a good job, but they're still like kind of new. So fine. That's kind of one thing right there. If you're going to get a recommendation, make sure you still have to ask the questions. You should still like do an interview. Like I have those 10 questions. So that's number one. Just because someone's recommending them, right? It doesn't mean that they're a great fit just because of that. Number two, when I did search for a new prep center, after this mess started about 2 weeks ago, when I actually did the research, so basically I Googled sales tax free states, prep center. So like one is obviously Montana. So I did Montana prep centers, started Googling, created like a spreadsheet and kind of wrote notes on all of them. And as I was going through all the websites, all of a sudden I was like, I made such a big mistake. So the website of Tiger Lily it looks like a 5-year-old made it. And it's not like, and that doesn't mean anything at all. Like, I'm not saying if you don't have a good website, but you could just tell it's not professional or anything like that. And I didn't really think anything of it because I've never worked with a prep center before. So I don't know, maybe all the websites look like that, but I also never thought to look. So another assumption there. So after looking at all the other prep centers and reading and seeing how much they cost, it was even a bigger red flag to me because most prep centers are the bigger-ish ones or the ones that seem more legit, are definitely charging in the realm of like $150 to $2, right around there. I'm paying $185, I think. Yeah, $185 at my new one. So yeah, and then you could see a lot of other stuff. So a lot of them they're using inventory labs, but they're not entering the data for you. That's what my prep center is entering everything for me. Makes a ton of sense now because it just slows stuff down. So there was that, and just um, the one that I was with didn't have a phone number at first. I think there's now one on there. So anyone who didn't have a phone number on their website, I like weeded them out. Anyone who didn't have their address on their website, I weeded them out. Just these like little tiny things. People now that didn't have pictures of facilities, I saw a lot of people with pictures of like their warehouse. Like if I had a prep center, I'd probably take a picture of the warehouse that I'm in right now and say, hey, like, welcome to my prep center or whatever. So those are some things to be on the lookout for sure. That brings me to the next point. Ask for pictures. I thought it was kind of like, I don't know, a weird thing to do because like you assume like a prep center. For me, I envisioned like my warehouse. You know what I mean? Something like that. They have packing stations or whatever the hell they have to like make things go well. This was not that. I felt like such an idiot when I saw the pictures. But it is what it is. Yeah. So ask for pictures. The new prep center I'm working with, I asked them for pictures. They had no problem sharing a picture. They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Here's our warehouse. I was like, oh shit, okay, this is good. Like, whatever, cool. So yeah, definitely do that. Make sure it like looks somewhat professional. And if they have a problem like giving it to you, then you probably shouldn't go with them. Number three, I would say I never talk to them on the phone. That was probably, I don't know. It was just, to be honest, I was being lazy. I just wanted to send an email, get the prep center like up and running. I wanted to rush into it. Now, in retrospect, probably not the best idea to like rush into finding a prep center if you're spending like $20,000 a month because yeah, you're sending them $20,000 a month worth of stuff. Not a good idea, just to like some stranger. So for this other one I hired, as soon as I filled out the form on their website, I think I did email them as well. They called me right away. Say, hey, is this a good time? Like within 20 minutes. So I was like, oh, okay, they're on top of stuff. I asked them like how many employees they have, how long they were in business. Again, you could just go to those questions, that YouTube video. And it was definitely a much bigger, like a better feeling for me that I actually spoke to someone. They were the owner. They gave me their cell number. I kind of told them what happened with Tiger Lily, and he's like, if you ever have a question, like you text me. I don't really care what time it is. Like I want you to be like in the loop of what's going on. So I felt really good about that. So there you go. I don't even remember what. I think I'm on 4 maybe. Use technology to your advantage. So we have a Google Sheet. Most prep centers use Google Sheets or some version of Google Sheets, but there will be some piece of technology that probably gets updated. So in my case, my prep center was using, or Tiger Lily was using a Google Doc. They would change to colors as stuff came in or shipped to Amazon or it was invoiced and all that kind of stuff. So when I saw there were no updates and they weren't going into the sheet, I should have like paused and been like, I know stuff's arriving there and they're not checking into the sheet. Like, hold on a second. Like, let me try to get a hold of them before I send anything more there. So be checking on that kind of stuff. Number 5, if you know people who use the prep center, that is great too because it's just easy. Hey, have you heard from them? Hey, are they sending your stuff? I knew about 5 to 10 people that I DM'd or texted or whatever and was easily able to piece it together that really no one's stuff went out and no one has heard from her. So it was like, okay, like something's really wrong here. So that's when I like completely stopped sending stuff. Probably should have did it at the 2 week mark, but I didn't. That's on me. What else do I have here? As for pictures, no people. All right. So that's the other thing. I'll just cover this quick. I don't really remember if I did, but don't assume anything with this. I assumed they were busy, so did everyone else. Turns out, like, we don't know what the hell they were doing or are doing today. So definitely don't assume anything. If your gut is telling you something's wrong, stop sending inventory there. Like, just either prep it yourself or make readjustments or whatever. Like, you do not want, trust me, like $7,000 worth of inventory there. I mean, for me, I'm on the luckier side. I know people that have 2, 3, 4 times that there right now. And yeah, so, okay. This is the last one and most important one. Is ask for help. And pay to be in groups and not like lead groups and stuff, but like communities. So this group is more of a community where people are constantly asking questions. People are always helping. Those groups tend to be more serious, more helpful, and stuff like that. Literally within 5 hours, I had pictures of what my inventory probably was being stored, what was going on there. So yeah, the power of Facebook groups and help. People are super, super supportive. They're giving me tips on what I could do next. I'm going to share that in a separate video later on to see if like what tips worked and what didn't. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, if you're ever stuck with stuff, like this is a great community. It actually made me super, super proud to be part of the Amazon community. Just because it just reminded me of how helpful the community is, and whether they have a Facebook group or YouTube or whatever, they really do care about us. Even though we're kind of competitors, we're still in this together. And I was just overwhelmed by how many people were willing to help. People go there, all that kind of stuff. No one likes to see someone get ripped off. It's just a really bad situation because think about it. Like, I have a YouTube channel and I'm telling you, hey, like a prep center is great. And like, then I got like super screwed on one. So it makes me look bad. It looks people who own prep centers bad for the community. A lot of people reached out to me on Instagram, say, oh, this is why I'll never use a prep center. So like bad stuff like this happens. And like, I don't put it out there to, sorry, that's Buster squeaking a ball, to like scare you and tell you not to use one. It's more just like proceed with caution. Follow some of the stuff I've talked about in this video. Don't assume anything. Ask, the right questions. See if they're on Facebook. Do like check, guys. Like, this is important. Like, this, I did not treat this as seriously as I should, to be honest. I just wanted a quick solution, and when you want quick solutions, you usually do not like the results of what happens. And then lastly, I would say for me, I did recommend them, and while I do feel bad for like how it turned out, like I said before, everyone else is responsible for doing their own homework. And I feel like for something like a prep center or whatever, I don't think, well, after this happened, I'm not making any recommendations. It was silly to make a recommendation because I was working with them for 3 or 4 months, which sounds like a decent amount of time, but like in the span, kind of not really. Like 3 months, like anyone could do a good job for 3 months. Like if you think about when I used to like work in corporate America or whatever, like if you hire someone new, like they do their best work in the first 6 months or the first 3 months, and then it kind of like trickles off. They get comfortable, maybe not, but when you're first working with someone, like you're gonna go the extra mile. You're going to like make sure they're happy. So like this 3-4 months like really isn't that much time to make a recommendation of using a new prep center. So that is kind of a lesson for me. And one of the ways this whole thing fell apart kind of is everyone just started recommending them. People are talking about them on YouTube videos and stuff like that, me included, when I was being interviewed on channels. And then everyone started using them, and then I guess they couldn't handle it. No one really knows at this point. But yeah, that's kind of what happened. And I don't fault them for taking on business, but like you got to keep everyone updated on what's going on. And yeah, so that's kind of the story. Those are like the kind of things to look out for. Use technology to your advantage. All right, like check to make sure they're updating stuff. Stay on top of them. If they're not like updating that sheet, like ask them. Be like, "Yo, I saw this was delivered. Do you have it? Is it lost? What's going on?" Number three, if you know people who are using them, I know I just said like I'm not making any recommendations or whatever, but I already know someone else who's using them. We just kind of happen to like mutually. Actually, we talk every other week, and I told them who I was going with because I trust them and all that kind of stuff, and they were just like, "Oh, I'm already using them. They're awesome." So I was like, "Okay, cool." So that ask for pictures of the facility. Do your own homework. Do your own research. You're gonna learn like what seems normal, what doesn't seem normal, and lastly, ask for help from the community, from other people. Just ask. Like people are always happy to help, especially when people are getting screwed over. It's not like I was like, oh, like I can't. It's like no, like they're holding $7 grand worth of inventory, can't get a hold of them, can't return. So everyone was like super helpful. So that's what I got for you guys today. I hope you found that helpful. I know this was a little longer video, but there's just a lot to say about this. This is super important in my mind, especially after just going through it. I'm not even through it yet. But I will make another video with an update of did my stuff get prepped or not, or is it just going to be a loss or whatever, and kind of how I'm going to wrap my head around that as it happens. So please like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.